Alright people, this is Ned Morpheus signing back in for another YouTube video. And listen here, I'm gonna ask nowadays, I'm gonna ask a simple question. Are you a sheeple? Now I know I ain't did a few videos in a while, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a whole bunch of freaky deaky shit going on, okay? Around the world. And this is my warning to the sheeple of the world. Are you a sheeple? Are you a sheeple or a wolf? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, half of this country ain't gonna be prepared for the bullshit that's coming down. That's all I gotta say. Because it ain't gonna take but one time for a rocket to land over here in this damn United States. That's all I gotta say about that. Now, you can play with your situation. Don't nobody else know your situation. But like I say, if you're smart, the rich people and the smart people getting the fuck out. That's all I got to say. See, they playing around. These people don't care nothing about you, man. You know? Families gonna turn on each other and ain't gonna give a damn about the next one. Okay, it's already that way. This net Morpheus, hell, I can tell you, cause I got someone that really ain't got my damn back at all. And if it come down for me to damn eat a piece of damn cornbread, or hell, need a damn, if I'm freezing in the middle of the motherfucking winter, but believe me, you gonna be on ass out. Okay, you hear me? But the thing is, I hate to use that type of gratuitous language, but ain't nobody gonna really give a damn until the day that the ark shut the fuck up. And I'm serious. I hate to use that type of language, but that's the type of situation we living in. Don't know nobody believe in conspiracy theories. Don't know nobody believe somebody will launch one on us over here. Okay? Don't nobody have a clue of what's coming here. But that's all right though. You'll find out. I can see it now. The golden horde coming up over the horizon. The day is either one or two things that's coming to this country, and ain't damn one of them gonna be prepared for it. That's the dollar collapse, and there's a threat of a nuclear strike. Them two things that people are not going to be prepared for. I got family members that laugh at me when I tell them about this bullshit that's coming. That's okay. We'll see who's going to get the last laugh. I'm going to go back to the Bible, and I hate to bring the Bible into this situation, but I'm going to tell you something. There was a time when there was a man named Noah. Everybody thought Noah was crazy. Everybody that because the Lord used to talk to him in his dreams. But I'm gonna tell you right here. Now I'm not telling you I'm Noah, but I know what's coming. Okay, I ain't none of Noah. And it is, and for all you people that never read the Bible, it ain't nothing like the movie. Okay, the movie ain't got nothing the way the thing actually went down. All right, people. This is Ned Morpheus signing out for another YouTube video, in depth and always in your face. Oh yeah, by the way, you got a whole bunch of brothers around here want to play pony up because by putting booster cables on their head to go out and get shot by these cops. Now you go ahead and do that on your brother, because a lot of folks ain't gonna follow you, brother. I'm gonna tell you right now, this ship is going down. It's going down. Net Morpheus sign out for another YouTube video. Alright people, I got a whole bunch of clips. Just take a look at it. It's all around you, baby. And like I say, ain't nobody gonna look out for you but you. G-O-D and you, baby. Peace.
While we fight to retain our liberty, while we fight to expose globalism, we have to realize we're talking about a very powerful combination of power.
Renowned author and expert Joel Skousen breaks down the globalist plan to shut down America and stage a new world war.
In one day, America will go from day to night. And if you haven't prepared in advance, there's not enough time to prepare in 24 hours, even if you saw it that early.
Coming to the Info War in November is our new documentary film presentation.
Strategic relocation is a systematic way to think strategically in the future about how do I safeguard.
Joel Skousen, Strategic Relocation.
The freeways are going to be crowded, they're going to run out of gasoline, they're going to run out of food, and then they're going to start to go north and south of those freeways.
Joel Skousen is renowned as one of the world's foremost experts in strategic relocation and the securing of your home.
We talk about natural disasters, the health environment, we talk about pollution, the water quality. My personal experience about being in every one of these states.
Government is digging in for the organized, incremental collapse of society and world war.
The U.S. isn't building huge underground bases and bunkers because of some terrorist threat. They know that a massive nuclear attack is coming. They want that attack to come, Most people won't even be ready and won't be able to get out of town when any of these nuclear weapons fall, because there'll be absolute panic.
There is no preparedness without strategy.
What I tell people is that you do have time. Prepare wisely in advance.
This Christmas, give the gift of preparedness. Strategic Relocation, the film, with Joel Skousen and Alex Jones.
Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green and you're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. So I realize many of you have been sitting on pins and needles asking me what are my thoughts about this crisis and this war that is currently raging on in the Middle East, specifically regarding Gaza and the Gaza bombardment by Israel, attack, counterattack by both sides, Hamas. What's happening? What are my thoughts? And in recent days, there's been numerous reports coming out, not just from the mainstream media, of course, defending Israel, as is the case with the U.S. and Israel being its primary ally, but also with the alternative media trying to describe and understand what the real reason is behind this conflict. And I think that both parties are pointing out viable and valid options, but really failing to nail it on the head. I mean, what is Gaza really about? I saw a report yesterday linking Gaza specifically to natural gas. That's the sole reason for the engagement and the sole reason for the bombardment and the death of innocent civilians, which is making up men, women, and children. And these are just ungodly, terrifyingly evil acts. Now, it's not to say that natural gas or energy or something like that isn't playing a role in this war. You know, again, wars are fought over things like energy, land, power, money. And I think that's really the root of what's happening today, is that what's happening in Gaza isn't really just specifically about one thing. I think that what's happening in this part of the world is an engineered flashpoint by the West. The United States of America, of course, directly linked to Israel, as the mainstream media continues to defend Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu and propagandize to us that the reason for the conflict was because a couple Israeli teens died, and vice versa. Palestinians have been dying, and that's the reason for the war. Now, first and foremost, we know that's totally and utterly propaganda. We know that Israel had a gag order on the deaths of the Israeli teens, and they perfectly timed and coordinated this to justify their bombardment of Gaza and the bombing of innocent civilians. And now, I just checked out the main wires today, earlier this morning, and Israel just notified Gaza and the people of Gaza up to 100,000 people to evacuate. So all of this is escalating further. But this is bigger than Gaza. Gaza is a flashpoint for a much greater, bigger global conflict. And I think it's being utilized right now by the West, by the United States government, Barack Hussein Obama, the bankers and power structure here in the States, and also Benjamin Netanyahu as a flashpoint for greater war and a greater conflict. All of this will be used, in my opinion, in the not too distant future to justify invading and the invasion of other countries in the Middle East, like Iraq, and the ongoing manufactured war by the West and the propagandizing of militant groups like ISIS. Notice how we just trade Durka, Al-Qaeda terrorists for another group. It goes from Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, and now it's ISIS. They're the new evil frontier that the West needs to conquer. Whether or not this is the Bush administration or it's the Obama administration, they're always playing into this propaganda. And Gaza, as it boils over and the unrest gets even more violent, and the sides are warring against each other, and the protests get even more aggressive in the streets. It's almost like illegal immigration here in the United States, and other manufactured events so the Republicans can play on it in the 2016 election for their platform. All of this being used to build up to greater conflict and to build up to war. I believe today, the history books will show, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years or more from now, if we still exist and don't destroy ourselves first, that we are already engaged in World War III. We are already engaged in the global war. Our worst fears, the population's worst fears, the working man and woman's worst fears, America's worst fears, the world's worst fears. And that is why Gaza is being used and engineered as a flashpoint in the Middle East for a much brighter, bolder conflict. All of this about money, specifically. It's not that natural gas and some of these issues don't play a role, but this is about the dollar. This is about global finance, global economics. Note, and notate that the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, are now forming their own banks, their own World Bank, their own equivalent of the IMF. They are brokering their own deals, doing trade in their own currency, moving away from the long dominance of the United States and our currency here, the US dollar. They are moving into a new future and a new frontier where they're in control of the monetary system. All this about money, all this about power. We could say there's ancillary arguments like natural gas, but this is all about a much greater conflict of world superpowers battling it out and playing the game of chess for total domination and global control. And that's exactly what I think is happening in Gaza today. And I think we're losing sight as critical thinking individuals. And I think the mainstream media and the alternative media is losing sight if they're solely focused on who's in the right and who's in the wrong, either defending or attacking Israel or defending or attacking Palestine. I think both of those arguments are wrong. You're falling into the right-left paradigm, Republican, Democrat, it's the equivalent, and you're not seeing the bigger picture. You know, I wholeheartedly believe, as someone that cares about humanity and loves people, all people, that any of the crimes being committed right now, in the name of anything that are killing men, women, and children, should be prosecuted as humanitarian war crimes. Whether or not this is coming from Israel and the government of Benjamin Netanyahu, or this is coming from Palestine, Hamas, or any of these other groups. Both parties should be ashamed of themselves. Both parties should be charged with war crimes. And that's the bigger picture, folks. The bigger picture is, this is about global conflict. This is about global war. This is about show me the money. And it's exactly why Gaza is a flashpoint for our very worst fear. Gaza is the flashpoint for the larger war in the Middle East. We've seen this in Syria. We've seen this in Libya with the ouster of Muammar Gaddafi, the attack on Bashar al-Assad. In Syria, we see this in Iraq as the mainstream media is breaking news on a daily basis that they're building a caliphate and putting into order Sharia law in this part of the world. Again, the government has their eyes on the entire region, not just Gaza. And that's why the mainstream media is spinning this. And they're going to escalate this, and it's going to be used as a catalyst to justify war. I personally don't know what's going to happen next, what the next bomb to go off will be. All I know is this is how it's being pitched by the mainstream media and the paradigm that makes up the New World Order and the power structure today. And it's much bigger than natural gas lines. Again, pointing a finger at either group, defending and or attacking either group, Israel, Palestine, Hamas, or the evildoers in Israel, to use some George W. Bush language, is ignoring the greater picture, is ignoring what's really happening in the Middle East. What's taking place right now, folks, is your worst fear. This is world war. Hard-hitting and in your face. I'm Christopher Green. Get it out everywhere, make it viral, and click that link below to share it everywhere.